Hey, my name's Dan. This is Pilates All Level 30 minutes here at Studio Blue. As always, if something doesn't feel good in your body, just know you don't have to push through any kind of bad pain, especially joint, neck, or lower back. I'm going to give you a lot of different places to go, so just always know you can level up if you'd like, or you can always peel back. Let's get started. So we're going to start on the hands and knees. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. And we'll start by taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling to round as we breathe out through the mouth. And just hold this rounded position, letting your head and jaw relax, let your glutes relax. Keep your shoulder blades spreading wide, belly lifting. And then as you inhale, start to open the chest, feeling like your heart can pull down and forward, your tailbone can lift. So there's a gentle arc throughout the whole spine. There's still a sense of the abdominals drawing in, even though they're lengthening. And again, as you exhale, rounding, drawing the belly in, shins rooting down, hands rooting down, belly lifting. Relax the jaw. And as you inhale, breathe wide into the back of the ribs. On your next breath in, open the chest, really focusing on the heart pulling down and slightly forward. And holding here, sitting bones spreading wide, shoulders melting down, eyes looking slightly forward. And then find the middle of those two extremes, so you're neutral. And then you're going to wag your tail to the right, look towards it. Inhaling to center, and then wag your tail to the left and look towards it. So you're side bending to one side. So one side of your obliques are turning on, the other side are lengthening. And for the most part, make sure your hips aren't really swaying from side to side. You're just feeling one hip draw up as the other hip bone reaches down. Take one more on each side. Eventually ending to your last side. And then find your center, feet together, knees open, child's pose. Arms can reach out in front of you, gently pressing the palms to the floor, the hips to the heels. If that feels uncomfortable in your shoulders, you can always take your arms behind you like this, letting the head come down. Holding here and taking a couple deep breaths. And this is a really nice place where you can practice your Pilates breathing. So as you breathe in, instead of feeling your belly expand into your thighs, start to breathe wide into the back of your ribs. And then as you exhale, gently feel your pelvic floor and lower waistline drawing in. And again, as you inhale, try not to breathe your stomach onto your thighs, but rather breathe into the side and back of your ribs. One more exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. And then on your next breath, roll yourself up and make your way onto your back. Now, only prop you'll need, if you'd like a little towel or pillow underneath your head for more support, you can go ahead and grab that. Otherwise, hands will come together behind the head, knees bent, feet flat, pelvis neutral. Nod the chin slightly. And as you exhale, lift the head and the chest. And just pause here in your chest lift. We want to find a place where we're really sinking through the front of the breastbone without overly tucking the pelvis, like this. So tailbone's heavy. We're just up off of our shoulder blades. The head is heavy. On your next breath in, lower the chest and the head. Nod the chin, exhale. Curling up, ribs gliding down, head still heavy. Inhale, lower the chest and the head. So keep going with this. And your breath has a lot of different functions. It can help your nervous system relax. It can help your muscles relax. And then breathing a slightly forceful exhale can help your abdominals and obliques engage. So every time you breathe out, feel how the ribs are gently gliding down and in, the lower tummy's drawing in. And then as you breathe in, use that inhale breath to expand the back of the ribs and to really relax through the middle back muscles. And one more like this, exhaling up. This time, reach your arms forward, turn your palms to face up. On your next breath out, see if you can reach and curl a little bit higher off your shoulder blades. And then hands to the back of the head, stay lifted. Slowly lower down. So you're using your abdominals to take everything down to the ground. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, curl up. Inhale, reach forward, palms turn up. As you exhale, stay lifted, hands together behind the head. Inhale, lower the head and the chest slowly. You should feel your abs working to lower you down. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, reach forward, palms up, curling a little bit higher off their shoulder blades. Exhale, hands together behind the head. Try not to lower the chest. Inhale, lower the chest and the head slowly. Last one like this. Exhale, curl. Inhale, reach, palms up. Check that your tail is heavy, your butt's relaxed. Reaching a little bit higher as you inhale. Exhale, hands together behind the head. Stay lifted. Inhale, lower down slowly. Now you can stay here or a little imprint of the lower spine to the floor, the legs float up tabletop. The elbows are in your peripheral vision, the shoulder blades are gliding down. As you exhale, tap the right heel towards the floor, feeling your waistline and rib line draw down. Inhale to lift up, exhale, left heel drops towards the floor. And I say towards the floor because you don't have to touch. So I only want you lowering so far that your ribs don't start to arc off the ground and you don't lose your stomach connection. Now, other things you can do here, we can lift the head and the chest, and same thing, exhaling, tapping a heel, inhaling up, exhale, tapping a heel. You can also reach the arms forward, and the arms reaching forward, if your upper back is feeling a little tight or your abdominals are starting to fatigue, reaching the arms forward can give you a little bit more leverage to help curl up off your shoulder blades. If that starts to bug your neck, of course, hands can always go back. One more each side. One more to the left. And then we'll lower the head and the chest down. Arms will reach out to a T, palms face up. Knees are glued together. As you inhale, the legs are going to drift to the left, keeping the right shoulder and shoulder blade heavy. As you exhale, I want you to think of using your oblique line. Use the side of the ribs and abdominals to bring you through center. Inhale, legs start to drift to the right. So think just about a 45-degree angle or so. It doesn't have to be very far. And then as you exhale, use your left waistline to bring you back. So inhaling over, upper body is now pretty still as the lower body is articulating and moving. Inhaling over. Now, if you wanted to peel this back, you can set the feet onto the floor, same thing with the feet on the ground. The knees fall to one side, and you're still thinking of using the waistline to bring the ribs, the pelvis, and the knees to center, and then the knees float to the other side. So lots of options. If you'd like to advance it, legs to the sky, toes pointed. Your toes stay together. You'll inhale, the legs drift to the left. And then same thing as I exhale, I'm using my outer waistline to bring me back. Inhale, legs over to the other side. And then exhale, the waistline is bringing me back. So the longer the legs, the longer the lever, which means the center of the body and the abdominals have to work harder to resist against more weight away from the center line of your body. Once you finish to the right, we'll bend the legs back to tabletop. Option to always keep the feet on the ground. Grab the back of the thighs. So regardless of where your legs are, lift the head and the chest. Now I want you to think of using your biceps to lift you towards your thighs rather than your knees pulling towards you. Take a full breath into the upper back. And then as you exhale, hands together behind the head. Take an inhale. Exhale, we twist up and over to the right. The legs stay still. Inhale to center. Exhale, we twist up and over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Check that the legs aren't swaying from side to side. The lower stomach is staying engaged. And now the lower body is pretty stable while we're moving and articulating through our upper body. One more to the left. Inhale to center, lower the head and the chest, arms by your side, feet to the floor, knees bent. Now the feet might have to walk in just a little bit closer towards your tailbone. As you exhale, start to roll the hips up to the sky, one bone at a time. So the feet are pressing down, the knees are reaching forward. And I want you to think of not overly arcing your back, but to lift from the back of your glutes. So your hips are opening rather than your back overly arcing. Pause at the top. Feel that the ribs are still drawing down. So your obliques, your abdominals are still working. Your collarbones are open. Notice if one foot's rolling out or rolling in. And then take a full breath. And then exhale, soften through the chest first. So right behind the collarbones, in between the shoulder blades, through the base of the ribs, curling the tail under, rolling through the lower back, opening the pelvis to neutral. Inhale. Exhale, curl the tail, waistline draws in, and as the pelvis starts to roll up, the back of the glutes will start to kick in, the hamstrings will start to kick in. And then right as you hit the top, again, make sure that you're not overly arcing the back. Right, so neutral bridge, knees, hips, shoulders, one long line, ribs still heavy. And then again, roll down slowly. Good. So this hip roll or bridge is a really nice way to get to the back of the spine to articulate. It's a nice way to functionally open up the hips and turn on the glutes. And if you focus on the weight of the arms and the weight in the back of the shoulder blades, it's a nice way to even work through the back body. And the next time that we roll up to the top, let's stay lifted. You can take your hands onto your hips. Make sure, again, ribs are heavy, hips are level. Put some weight into your left foot. As you exhale, you can lift your right heel and lower the heel, or the whole right leg floats up tabletop, and then we tap the heel down. So we'll inhale to lift. Exhale, waistline draws in as you lower. So inhaling up. Arms can always rest by your side at any point. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. So you're going to start to feel, hopefully, your standing leg, the standing glutes. Now the waistline is still working. The shoulders are still broad. Start to relax the neck and the jaw. Make sure you're not tensing or gripping. Last two. And last one. Set that right foot down. Hold as you exhale. Weight in the right. Left heel or the whole left leg floats up tabletop. We inhale to tap. Exhale to lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Waistline's in. If you need to check your hips, you can always take your hands to the pelvis. Keep moving, feeling weight even in the back of the head. Jaw staying relaxed. Make sure you're not gripping through the standing foot or standing toes. Last three. Last two. And on the last one, feel that foot set down to the ground and pause. Inhale the hips up a little bit higher from opening the front of your thighs and pelvis. As you exhale, start to roll down through your upper spine. Now as you roll down, start to reach your arms overhead. So as your pelvis opens to neutral, the arms are reaching back. We'll lift the arms to the sky, nod the chin, lift the chest, imprint the lower spine, legs float up tabletop one at a time, and then legs can reach to the sky. We're gonna grab a hold just behind the back of the right calf. You can always grab below the knee as well. Left heel is gonna come all the way down and touch the ground, lower back imprinted. And on this version, I want you to use your arms to find a gentle hamstring stretch. Shoulders are soft. As you exhale, switch legs. So the left leg is reaching to the sky. The right heel is rooting to the ground. So the front of this hip is opening. Exhale, switch. Exhale, switch. And in that moment when you're switching, you still want the lift of your chest. So your abdominals are working. Make sure the hips aren't hiking. And use your breath, both the inhale and the exhale. One more each side. Ending left leg up, right leg down. And then you're going to bend the left leg in towards you, lower the head and the chest to the floor. As you inhale, take that leg across. Open the left arm out to the side, turning the palm to face up. And then just breathe in to the side of your waist. So you're going to feel stretch anywhere from your armpit down through your hip, outer hip into the outer thigh. And you don't want to force this twist, but use your breath to ease into it. As you exhale, return everything back to center. Right leg hugs in towards you. As this leg hugs in, make sure the hip isn't hiking up. As you inhale, take that leg across, open the right arm. And your head can stay neutral, looking to the sky, or it might turn to the right. Make sure the shoulder's rolling out of the ear. And your shoulder might fully touch the ground, it might not. Try not to overly force it, but again, use your breath. So big inhale to create space and expansion. And then allow your exhale to ease you into the stretch, maybe going a little bit deeper. On your next breath, bring everything back to center so your legs are together, your toes are pointed, your arms are going to reach overhead, palms face one another. Check that the front of the ribs are heavy, the pelvis is neutral. As we inhale, lift the arms, the head, the chest. Pause with your arms parallel to the floor. As you exhale, draw the waistline in, start to roll up, stretch forward, and you don't necessarily have to touch your toes. Have your shoulders just somewhere over the hips, rolling the shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, curl the tail, slowly start to roll back. So if you notice your legs lift on this and you just can't keep them down on the way down or the way up, you can take a small pillow or a small towel that's folded up and you can place it underneath your lower back. You can also use soup cans or weights in hand to help you roll up and through. You can also use a band around your feet. And this one, you need your breath. So keep breathing, keep articulating through your spine. Checking that the shoulders aren't becoming earrings. Good. Toes are still pointed. Notice if one leg is rolling out and one leg is rolling in. Last one like this. And we're going to take it just about halfway back, scooping the tailbone, the spine is rounded. We'll bend the knees, walking them towards you, arms still forward. Now thighs are going to come together. I'm scooping my tailbone under, my lower spine's rounded. I'm just behind my tailbone and my sit bones. You can stay here, and as you inhale, you can turn the right palm to face up. I'm opening the arm and allowing my rib cage to twist towards it. Exhale back to center. Inhale, left arm opens. I'm watching my hand open. I'm allowing my ribs to twist. Exhaling back to center. So it's an inhale, open. Exhale, back. Making sure that the twist is coming through the rib cage and the upper spine. There isn't too much movement to the pelvis or the lower back. One more to the left. Inhale, open. Exhale back, and then grab the back of the thighs, scoop the tail, lift the legs one at a time, pushing the thighs into the hands. Now, the shins are going to float up so they're parallel to the floor. I'm using my arms to help lift my chest slightly now. Lower back still just a little bit rounded. Belly in, take an inhale. As I exhale, keep pushing the thighs into the hands as you curl your tail, and slowly roll yourself back to an abdominal curl, to a chest lift. Pause, inhale. Exhale, use the weight of your legs reaching forward to help roll you up to a balance point. Inhale at the top, maybe trying with no arms, legs stay still. We curl the tail, roll down to your chest lift. Pause, take an inhale. Exhale, roll back up to your teaser prep. Pause, inhale. Exhale, scoop the tailbone. Try to keep those legs still as we roll back to your chest lift. Inhale. Exhale. Roll back up slowly, slowly, slowly. At the top, can you lengthen the legs? Hands can always come back behind the thighs for a little bit more support. Otherwise, they're reaching forward. We're breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Bend the knees. We're going to cross the legs over one another, and we're going to come onto the hands and knees. Fingers are spread wide. Inner elbows are facing one another. Knees about hand distance apart. Keeping the arms straight. As you inhale, let the chest drop. Shoulder blades come in towards one another. And then as you exhale, chest lifts. Shoulder blades widen. One more. Arms stay straight. Inhale, shoulder blades together. Exhale, press through the arms. Let your shoulder blades widen. And then find the place in the middle so there's energy behind those blades. One leg at a time steps back into front support. Now holding here, waistline's lifting from your ears all the way down towards your ankles. You're a nice long line. Knees can always come to the floor. We can always come onto the forearms. Anything you need to feel supported. Keep the waistline lifting. Keep your feet pushing down so the front of your thighs are on. The back of your glutes are on. Now, if you want to add on, left foot continues to push down, the right leg lifts. So glutes are on, hamstrings are on, front of the hip is opening. We lower the right leg. Exhale, left leg lifts. No change to the upper back. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Shoulder blades are widening. This can also be done from hands and knees for a little bit more support. Keep the base of the ribs lifting. One more, left leg lifting and lowering, pause. And then as you exhale, lift the hips high into up stretch, is what we call it in the Pilates world, or down dog. So knees can bend a little bit. Lift the hips, press the arms down, roll the shoulders out of the ears. And then as you continue to breathe out, maybe start to lengthen the heels to the floor. On your next breath out, shift into your front support and hold. Chest still open. The left knee drops down to the floor. It's directly under the hip. Pivot, the left foot open to the floor, right arm to the sky, right toes forward. So we're in kind of a modified side plank of sorts. So just hold here for a moment. Make sure you feel that your lower waistline is drawing up. You're not overly sitting back in your hips, but your pelvis is stacked over your bottom knee. Shoulders softening. Flex that top foot. As you exhale, can you lift the top leg up? Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Making sure that the waistline is drawing in. You're not overly rounded. You're not overly arced. Making sure your bottom hand isn't too far, too close rather, to your body. Both shoulders are drawing out of the ears. And then hopefully you're feeling the side of your glutes really on both sides. You have your stabilizing side, the leg that's rooting down into the earth, and you have the leg that's lifting. Last two. And last one. Lower the top leg. Toes point forward. Take the top arm overhead. Lift through the waistline. Look down towards your bottom hand, towards that left hand. Nice big side stretch. And just continue to take the hand to the floor, coming into cat stretch, rounding the spine. Good. Opening the chest. Really emphasizing the movement through the upper spine. Find that place that feels neutral. And then making sure right knee is under the hip, you're gonna pivot, right toes onto the floor. So you're gonna see my backside on this, left leg goes out long, left arm comes up to the sky. So again, make sure your hips aren't overly falling back, but you're pretty stacked. Rooting down through your bottom leg, ribs are softening in. Top leg will lift, flexing the foot. So as we inhale, we're lowering that leg down. Exhale, lifting. Inhaling down, make sure your hips are staying square. Exhaling, lifting. Shoulders out of the ears. Waistline drawing in, making sure you're not over arcing the spine or overly rounding it. For those hypermobile people out there, make sure your arm isn't locked, but you feel your bicep and your triceps supporting you. Last 3, 2, last 1. Lower the leg, top arm overhead, arcing up, looking down at your bottom hand. So nice side stretch to the top of the waistline, and just start to follow that arm down until we are on our forearms. So you're gonna grab onto your upper biceps to measure your elbow distance. Hands can be together if you want a little bit more support, or you can separate them for more work behind the shoulder blades. Feel like your inner elbows are pulling in, knees will narrow to hand distance apart. They're directly under the hips. Take the right leg, reach it back and up, hold. Eyes are gonna look down slightly so your neck is following the line of your upper back. I want you to feel those back glutes. Bend the back leg, bring it in as you inhale. Exhale, reach out and up, open the front of the hip. Find the back of those glutes, inhale down. Exhale, reach out and up. Right, and you should start to notice your standing leg is working here as well. So the outer left hip muscles, your hip rotators, your gluteals, they're all working to help keep you square and to keep you from swaying off to the side. And then the right glutes are working to help lift that leg up. Check that the shoulders aren't rolling into the ears. And the peel back on this one, you can come up onto your hands if you start to notice your shoulders, they're just getting really tired or your neck's getting really tired. Last 4. And if you've come to classes here with me at the studio, you know I love this routine. Forearms, all of the single leg glute work. 1 more. Control it down. Lift up and pause. So again, feel the waistlines in. Root the forearms down. Hug the inner elbows in. Lift the waistline. Flex the back foot. And we're gonna go into circles. So we're gonna let that back leg come down just a couple inches. Circle it out, up, in, and down. So you wanna find that full circular motion. So you're working through the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the back of the glutes. Keep rooting down through your standing shin. Make sure you're not swaying or dropping into the hips. Last 2. In this direction. Last 1. Find your center, pause, and then we're gonna come out, down, circle sweep in and up. It's out, down, in and up. And check in with your jaw, or if there's any places you typically like to hold tension, make sure they're not overworking. Make sure your back foot is parallel to neutral. It's not overly rolling in or out. Last 3, 2, and last 1. Pause at your top. Take a breath in. Exhale, take that leg down. Child's pose or cat stretch. You can have your knees together or apart, palms pressing forward, heavy hips. Take a deep breath in. And then rise back up onto the forearms. So elbows under shoulders, knees under hips. We're stable, left leg, reach it back and up. So again, pausing, Make sure your hips are level. You're not overly dropping through the hips or swaying. You'll bend that back leg in as you inhale. And as you exhale, reach back and up. Inhaling down and in. Exhale back and up. So it's an active hip opener. It's a glute worker. It's a back body worker. And even check that your hands aren't overly gripping. Notice where you're putting your intention and the energy in your body. Neck is still long. And we're breathing. Last two. One more with me. We're going to hold at the top, flex the foot. Back leg stays long. We're going to drop that leg down, bring it in, up, out, and down. So circling in all directions, making sure your hips are staying still. Neck is long. And upper body's definitely working with the lower body here. Last four in this direction. 3, 2. Hold up on 1. Take an inhale. Bring it in, down, out, around, and up. In, down, out, around, and up. Hips staying square. Waistline staying in. Last 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, hold at the top, pause. Bend the back leg down and in. Slowly press yourself up to hands and knees. Fingers spread wide. Upper back wide, belly in. Legs step back into front support. Pause in that front support. If you look at your feet, make sure one foot isn't rolled in or rolled out. The weight is even. Eyes are looking slightly forward. Make sure your head isn't overly dropped or overly arced. Inner elbows facing one another. Make sure you're not hyperextending through those elbows. Keep breathing. Feet pushing down. Palms pressing down. Waistline lifting up. And then you're going to point your toes slightly, bend your elbows. Now your knees can come down to the ground, or elbows bend, you lower all the way down to your stomach. Toes reach back. Your arms reach back behind you. Palms are face down, just off the side of your mat. Legs reach back, so the front of the hips are opening. Nose an inch off the floor. As you inhale, roll the shoulders back. Start to lengthen out so much that the chest lifts. Keep your pubic bone heavy. Keep your waistline lifting. Option, lift the arms. Lower everything down. Turn your head to one side. And again, as you inhale, start to peel the chest up. I want you to think more about length than height. Option, lift the arms. Maybe lift the legs. So the front of the hips are opening. Back of the glutes are on. And I want you to feel how your inhale helps you find a little bit more extension in your upper spine. And your exhale is going to help you connect to your waistline. On your next exhale, lower, head to the other side. One more time, inhale, peeling up through center. Option, lift the arms, lift the legs. And another option here, if you'd like to advance, start to bend the knees. Legs can be about hip distance, toes are pointed. Palms will turn to face in. Now you can stay here, just bending the legs, the back of the hamstrings and glutes are active. You can continue to bend and grab a hold of your feet. Press the feet into the hands to lift the chest open. Now I want you to think of the legs not only pushing into your hands, but also lifting to the sky. So the chest is opening, the stomach's lifting, full back extension on this. On your next breath, slowly lower down. Hands can come underneath the forehead. Bend the knees and windshield wiper the feet from side to side. So any of those last exercises, just allow the legs to windshield wiper, side to side. Let the spine unravel and unwind. Find your center and again, push back to child's pose. Feet together, knees can be open. Heavy head. And as you breathe, notice if this feels any different than the beginning of this 30 minutes. Can your hips touch your heels? Can you breathe a little bit more deeply? So just notice, there's no judgment, just notice where you're at. And then rise back up to the hands and knees, tuck the toes. You can press through an up stretch and eventually walk the hands and feet together. And we're just gonna hang out in forward fold. Softening the knees. Let the head roll from side to side, up and down. And as you inhale, bend the knees a little bit more. Exhale, root through your feet, slowly start to roll up. Really let your jaw be relaxed, your head, your arms, your fingers. Eventually let your head come up last. Good. Holding here, shoulders rolling out of the ears. And take one last big breath in through the nose and out through an open mouth. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to call the studio or email me personally, Dan@studiobluepdx.com. We'll see you next time.